Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Finished Article Fergie Time. My name's Shazad, and I've got my co-host with me, Shazad. And today we're going to be talking about the Manchester United game against Liverpool being postponed. Just literally announced 10, 15 minutes ago.
You know what?
Before we go on, we've got to do this. So leave a like, hit the like button, leave some comments, and hit that subscribe button. Let's get this channel up to 100 subscribers. And just before sorry, Shaz, sorry to interrupt you, but before we carry on, if you look at the little the ticker at the bottom, that's going to stay there during the whole video. Let's get that trending worldwide on all social media because that's what needs to happen. Now, the game against Liverpool, Man United versus Liverpool, it was due to kick off at 4:30, and we're on 6:00, and it still hasn't gone on. Now, it was delayed until I think it was about 5:30, 5:45. And then the announcement was made on Sky Sports that the match has been postponed. Now, I'm not sure 100% of the reasons why it was postponed because the stadium was clear for the players to go in. The hotels were clear for the players to leave. There was police roadblocks all the way around to make sure the fans couldn't get to the buses or into the stadium. I think it was just a personal safety issue. The players, the managers probably didn't feel safe enough to go through. But I'm going to hand it over to my boy Shazad. I'm going to let him give you thoughts on that.
You know what? Shaz's abrupt start to the podcast tells you everything you need to know about today. So, boys, you know what? English football got brought to its knees today because United fans had a voice and they actually stood out and said, no more. We're not going to take this rubbish anymore. We want our club back. They stood up with a voice and they said, you know what? We're going to protest now. Okay. Before we go into this, myself and Shaz do not condone any violence. So we're not saying go and kick people, beat people, cause damage. What you got to understand is
speak for yourself,
the Glazers basically, as you can see trending below, needed to hear a message. Now, they're millionaires. They don't really care. But guess what? The world's going to be watching. And, I'm glad it was Man United that actually went out and did this because, you know what? Spurs are playing at 7:30 and I guarantee they haven't got the cojones to go and do
the Spurs fans haven't got the cojones to do what United fans just did. I don't think any other club has the fans with the big enough cojones to do what United fans just did today.
No.
Now, you're right. We don't condone any type of violence, but this message needed to be sent. Fair enough, the game didn't need to be postponed. Protest needed to be made against the Glaciers. Was this the right way to go about it? Now, I'm going to say yes, because Glaciers are all about the money. Now, this issue that the fans have now caused of the match being postponed has just lost a lot of money for the Glaciers. They probably will lose the TV rights money for this game because it's not been shown on TV. Yes, fair enough, they wouldn't have got ticket sales for it, but they would have lost a lot of money on TV rights.
You know what?
Will the United fans do it again on the next home game? Who knows? But that's what the Glaciers need to think about. They need to think, is this going to keep happening to all the home games?
You know what? I think this sends out one couple of key messages. So what we'll do is we'll promote this game to go probably just before the Europa League final. So as me and Shaz were talking before we jumped on, now the conundrum is, guys, we made a statement. They've got to go out and realize that if Man United get affected by this, the Glazers have got to pay attention and realize that, yes, they did this. They did it against the club that they love because they wanted to make a statement. The Glazers 100%. Need to wake up and realize. Now, the way I see it is that, yes, as Shaz has said, it's gonna hurt Glazers more. Yes, Sky have said it's going to be rescheduled because you know what, Sky just loves sucking up the Glazers, but it's going to happen. But you know what?
But saying that, if the game's rescheduled for another day, will it be shown on Sky? Because if it's shown on the same day as another game that Sky have already got, or BT have already got, whoever's got, this game might not even be shown on TV.
Bro,
even though it's one of the biggest games of the season.
English football's biggest game. BT will show it, Sky will show it.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say, Shaz. If BT are going to show it or Sky show it, doesn't matter who. If this game is being shown at the same time as another game, that they've already picked to be on TV, and they've already marketed and they've already advertised. They're not going to show this game over that because they're going to lose money on the other game.
So Shaz, I'm glad you touched upon that. So just for a bit of context, now the point Shaz has raised is valid, because what that's going to do is whoever game gets disrupted because of this game being rescheduled. Sorry, you're gonna see the other side of it. Now you got to realize that the owners of these football clubs cannot just treat these clubs as business entities. Yes, it's a business at the end of the day, but effectively it's football clubs that are supported by loyal fans, not just Premier League, but you got Championship, English Football League, and it's a whole football pyramid of 92 clubs. But you know what, guys? Absolutely massive statement made by the fans today. Love the statement. Absolute legends for doing it. I hope everyone gets home safe and sound and isn't in any issue. But by all means, I think today a stand has been made.
Absolutely. I mean, I was listening to like not the commentators, but the studio people on Sky. Now, the guy who was outside the Lowry Hotel, giving the update on the United squad, he said that there had been no arrests made outside the hotel. It was a very peaceful protest. They were chanting outside the hotel. They were letting the flares off. The police pushed them back to the main road. The coaches were there. There was two coaches ready to take the players to the stadium, but the call was made to postpone the game. I don't know who made that. It's I don't know how that came about. I'm sure the news for that will come out later. Now, I was listening to Roy Keane just about 5-10 minutes before we came on here, Shaz. That he's saying that he's heard cars were flipped over and there was a lot of damage caused outside the stadium. Well, I've not heard anything like that, at this point. But I'm sure news of that will come, if it has happened.
Well, this is the thing, right? So have you seen? So the way the media reports it is the guys that are doing peaceful protests, Sky ain't going to cover that because it's not going to make them money and get people to watch them. What they've done is, and it's quite subliminal, they've got the protests that are causing issues. So they've got the people doing stupid things on TV. Yeah. Now, the issue...
I don't think anything's actually happened, though, Shaz. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Exactly. So what Roy Keane has said hasn't been substantiated, and I don't think has happened because, let's be honest, causing vandalism to people's properties isn't going to get the Glazers to listen. What they did is outside the stadium, and to a certain extent, getting on the pitch did it. But now answer Shaz's question at the start before he carries on. He said at the start he wasn't sure the reason for the game getting cancelled because the players were ready to go. So I think this has just been made as a personal decision because they just didn't feel comfortable enough to go onto the ground based on everything they'd seen. Knowing the animosity that's been generated, I think would have caused a bit much tensions on the pitch.
The thing is, the fans that were already around there, they could have made their way back to the stadium onto the pitch. I mean, first of all, I'm gonna mention this. Where was security? Where were the stewards? How did the fans get onto the pitch so easily? That's shocking. So imagine, just imagine, Shaz, that the players were on the pitch, they were kicking off, they were playing, and then all of a sudden you've got all these fans running onto the pitch, invading it. That's a security risk. Where was the security? Where were the stewards? Come on, United.
I heard
needs to be protected.
I heard the fans got into the disabled area where the fans.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They shouldn't have been able to get through anywhere. There should have been stewards and police or security everywhere. Now, I'm going to mention this because I think that what the fans have done, yes, they should have protested 100%. There should have 100% been a protest against the Glaciers. Should they have done it the way they did? No. They should have let the match go on and protested outside the stadium whilst the match was going on.
Yeah.
Without invading the pitch. You can do a peaceful protest without invading the pitch. They should have let the match carry on, and they should have protested outside and made as much noise as they wanted outside, because that would have been heard on TV. You have to remember there was no fans in that stadium. There would have been no fans in the stadium for the game, but you would have been able to hear everybody from outside inside that stadium. And that I think that would have made a bigger noise than storming the pitch and having the game postponed.
No, but before we carry on, guys, I can tell that we've got some viewers watching in, so really appreciate the support. As always, please either like, subscribe, and comment. Without your support, we wouldn't be where we are today. So anyway, carrying on. You know what, Shaz? I think the bigger message has been put. So if you put aside the fact that the security breaches were not cool, should not have happened, but I think if you look at the big six, Manchester United have actually come out and made a statement. And this is the funny thing, they should have actually done this from the beginning. So when the Super League was proposed, they should have said, like, guys, no. Now, I think what's happened is, and Shaz can back me up on this, I think this is just, it says an even bigger issue than the Super Six, European Super League. So this is the fact that the Glazers have been taking advantage of United taking money out of the club. And they basically said, you know what, enough is enough. We have to make a stand. I heard that there were people traveling from Birmingham and all over the country to come up and protest. So you know what, kudos to them. Like I said, as we always say, go to protest, be safe. But remember, we're in COVID times, so we wouldn't like anyone to suffer from this. So please stay safe.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a mix of different clubs, fans doing this protest, because you've got to remember United and Liverpool were both a part of this Super Six that were due to join the Super League. So it wouldn't surprise me if some of the fans were actually Liverpool fans as well as United fans coming together for a bigger cause.
No, that is true. That is true.
I mean, if people travelled, from like you said, Birmingham and places like that, I wouldn't be surprised if people travelled from Liverpool to come and protest. Now, I know there are, like you said, Chaz, there are people watching the video right now live. So leave your comments, people. Let us know what's actually going through your minds right now about this protest, about the game being postponed. Are you happy that the game's postponed? Are you actually annoyed because you took time out of your schedule to sit down and watch this game? Let us know what your thoughts are. But yeah, Shaz, one more thing. This protest that happened today, this is probably the first of many that are going to happen. I think there's going to be more protests at more home games, and more home games are actually going to be either delayed or postponed because of these type of protests. This was the first. I think this is the first of many, and this is the first stage of a bigger movement.
Absolutely.
I think this movement is the Glaciers out movement, and this needs to carry on. Whether, yes, they shouldn't be invading the pitch. They shouldn't be invading the pitch. They shouldn't be postponing the games. They shouldn't be making the games being postponed, because there's other fans that want to watch these games. That, there's people like me and you that are sat at home right now that were ready to watch this game, and I'm sure there's thousands of other people that were sat at home ready to watch the game around the world. That millions of people were ready to watch United hammer Liverpool at Old Trafford. But yeah, I'm not that upset that the game's been postponed, but I am a little bit upset that I didn't get to watch the game. But I'm sure it'll be rescheduled and we'll be able to watch it in a couple of weeks or so. In the next couple of weeks.
If anything else, it'll keep the players fresh ahead of Thursday's second leg against Roma.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that, but yeah, United have the second leg against Roma coming this Thursday after the 6-2 thrashing that they gave them at Old Trafford. And yeah, I think this gives the United team a lot. It gives them more time to recover from that last game and go into the next game as a fresher team. I think Solskjaer will now change the squad that he would have had for the next game. Based on what's happened today. I mean, I think he would have played. Players like Amad Diallo, Daniel James, and people like that. And I think now he's got the option of playing the bigger players like Pogba and Fernandes, and the other bigger players, because yes, United are winning 6-2, and Roma need to win 4-0 at home to actually go through, because they've got the 2 away goals. Now, I don't see Roma beating United 4-2, but in football, you never know what's going to happen. United need to go out there and get at least 1 or 2 away goals and put this game to bed within the first 20 minutes of the game. Starting with your strongest side, with Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford, Cavani, Mason Greenwood, all the big man team need to be out there, get the goals in the first half, come off on the second half, and just let the younger players, have a full half against a team that we've already beat at that point.
No, absolutely. But guys, you know what? We're gonna wrap it up there. But you know what? As always, it's been a pleasure to have you on board.
Yes,
great people. To see the Man United fans out in full voice. And until next time, take it easy.
Glaciers out.
trending worldwide, boys. Trending worldwide.
Yes, people. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I know we had quite a few viewers up there. So thank you everyone for tuning in whilst we're live. Thank you for everyone who's going to be tuning in once it's on YouTube. Appreciate everyone viewing. Appreciate everyone supporting us. And we'll see you in the next video, peeps.